1st of July, banks will need to comply with new debt-to-income restrictions set by the Reserve Bank. These restrictions, they apply for both home buyers and also property investors as well. So what's the good, what's the bad, and could this potentially be the end of the property market? Our favourite financial advisor and property apprentice owner, Debbie Roberts, is here for the penultimate time. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome. Thanks
now,
for having me.
I mean, over the course of my journalism career, we've talked about LVRs, loan-to-value ratios, but now there's debt-to-income ratios.
Yeah. So
Can you explain them?
I'll do my best.
Right.
So there's still LVRs, so there are still deposit restrictions. The banks are relaxing a little bit on that. So the Reserve Bank is now allowing property investors to purchase with 30% deposit after the 1st of July instead of 35%. So that's a bit of good news there. Also, it's important to remember that debt to incomes, it's not going to be the end of the property market. You know, people will still be able to purchase a home and investment properties as well. How it works is, in a nutshell, you will multiply all of your debt, including credit cards, hire purchase, student loan, like every single piece of debt that you've got, plus the new loan that you're applying for. It'll be multiplied by 6 if you're a homeowner, and that's the maximum you can put. That's the maximum amount of debt, or multiplied by 7 if you're a property investor. So 6 or 7 times your income. For property investors, that includes rental income as well. Okay, so in a nutshell, work out all your debt, multiply it by 6 or 7, and 6 or 7 times your income, and that's the max you can borrow. But you still need to meet bank lending criteria.
Are there any exemptions to that? You know how there are with LVRs, there's exemptions. Are there exemptions for people who are outside that?
Yeah, so banks are actually allowed to lend 1 in 5 loans to homeowners and 1 in 5 loans to property investors above the DTI restrictions. Now that's a big change because at the moment, it's less than 1 in 10 that would be above the DTI. So it's not gonna make that much difference. The kicker at the moment is the responsible lending code. You know, like my personal opinion is we don't need DTI. The banks are responsible lenders anyway, but some of the exemptions are new builds or construction loans. Now, I find that quite interesting because in my experience, the people that have got themselves into the biggest financial distress have been because they were sold new builds that weren't suitable for their financial position. So, man, now more than ever, it's important that you get good financial advice from someone that's not just going to sell you a new build. Wow.
Okay. So new builds are exempt if you...
New builds are exempt from the DTI rules. Yeah. And also, yeah, I know. Like, I guess they don't want to restrict the new builds from being...
Well, they want to encourage new builds, right? But they're also quite risky with property developers going under, or, you know, there's lots of things that can happen, be delayed and...
Yeah, there are. So, yeah, what else is there? Refinancing dollar for dollar. So if you're refinancing from one bank to another bank, that's an exemption. And bridging finance. So if you need to sell one house before you settle the other one, bridging finance can help bridge that gap, and that's exempt.
You mentioned that the banks are already very stringent on this. They'll look at everything, they'll look at your income, and then they'll even go well far and above that to make sure that you're doing it. So they're kind of already doing this.
Yeah, so you might be below the DTIs and still not qualify for lending.
Wow.
I know.
Do you think this is going to impact a lot of potential buyers?
No.
No, okay.
What about first home buyers who have got big student loans, maybe?
Well, student loans are part of the debt picture. So, yeah, you've got to include all debt. So my advice is if you're looking at purchasing your first home, get rid of credit cards, even credit cards that you don't use, because the limit on your credit card is considered a debt. So get rid of all of that. Don't do things like afterpay, buy now, pay later, you know, all hire purchase, those are all considered to be debt. So, yeah, tidy about there.
Okay, interesting stuff. I'm going to learn a lot there. Thank you very much, Debbie. Wonderful to have you in here. That is Debbie Roberts, who is the owner and a financial advisor at Property Apprentice.